Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to crochet a Smiski tomato headband because my friend requested this tutorial. Before I begin, I have a few disclaimers. Number one, the usual disclaimer I have in all my videos. There is cursing in this video, so if you don't like profanity, please click away. Number two, crocheting isn't my main crafting medium. There might be instances where I might be using the wrong crochet vocabulary or term, but this is why I have this video as a visual aid to make sense of it all. Number three, this tutorial is assuming that you already know how to crochet and how to do the basics. I'm not gonna go over like the basics, okay? Number four, feel free to tweak this pattern if you need to or want to. In my last crochet video, I had a comment asking if they were allowed to change some things and sell the product. I do have it in my description box already. The answer is yes. But if possible, I would appreciate credit. If not, then there's nothing I can really do about it, so whatever. To begin, these are the materials you will need. A 150mm crochet hook. It says 2 on the other side. Scissors. Glue gun with glue, preferably a fine tip for precision. And of course, red and green yarn. These are called lace yarn. So the thing is, my mom sent me these, and I have noticed that this lace yarn is thicker than this one, but none of these thinner ones came with any label. So these are the same thinner ones. These are the same thicker ones. And this one actually came with a label. So here is like the information. It says 1 super fine. And if this is super fine, I really don't know how much smaller this would be considered because it is significantly thinner than these, right? Either way, here's the backside for more information. Let's start. Oh, actually, fuck. Sorry, one more item you need is going to be a ruler. Because when we begin, we are going to start off with a tail of a minimum 18 inches. 12 inches in length and then an extra 6 makes it 18, right? Once we got that measured, we're going to start our chain. So we're going to first do 22 single crochet chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, 21, 22. So keep in mind this here is the 22nd chain. We're going to do one more chain, and then we're going to stab it into the 22nd chain hole. And we're going to do 4 single crochets in this hole. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do single crochets all the way across until we hit the second to the end. So not the end, but this one here, the second to the end. Identifying the next hole here. Single crochet. Identifying the next hole here. Single crochet, and so on. I've seen videos of people recording themselves doing micro crocheting, and I don't know how they do it so smoothly and so fast because this shit is so tiny. I feel like I have to constantly move my fingers around just to get a good grip on everything. Maybe practice makes perfect, but that is some skills. We've finally reached our destination, the second to last hole. Now we're going to work into the very last hole. So we're going to do 5 single crochets into this last one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moving on to the other side of our chain, we're going to do the same thing and do single crochet stitches all along the length until we reach the second to last hole. This is the last hole. This is the second to last hole. Identify the next hole and single crochet. Identify the next hole, single crochet. Yada, yada, yada. Once we've reached our second to last hole, if you see, we have our first stitch here, our very first crochet stitch. We are going to jab our needle into that stitch, the very first stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch it. So pull the yarn through and then pull it through. From here, we are going to do 4 single chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you need to use stitch markers or pins, just grab one and put it in here like so. From here, we're going to cut a tail of about 6 inches. Here is our band so far. 'Cause you don't even know the name of my band. With the 18-inch tail we had before, we're gonna work with that. If you see that first hole there, we're going to jab our hook into that hole, and then with the 18-inch tail, we're going to just loop it through like this. And then we need to identify the next hole, jab our needle through, and slip stitch it. Slip, slip, motherfuckers. Identify the next hole, slip, slip. So basically, we're going to slip stitch through each hole until we hit the very end. I want to take this time to give credit for this idea to a YouTuber with the channel called Dear Crochet. I was looking for crochet earmuff tutorials and I came across this video. To be honest, I just skimmed the video because I was like, I'll watch it in depth when I make the earmuffs, but I never made the earmuffs. Or I haven't made it yet, at least. However, I got the gist of it and I thought her idea was like genius, so I'm using it here. If you want a more in-depth explanation for this, you should probably watch hers as extra study material, maybe. But once we've reached the end, we're going to pull our tail through all the way. And then with that huge gaping hole, we're going to pull the yarn through all the way to the other side. After pulling it through, we're still going to be working with this same tail. If you think of this headband as a rectangle, this here is going to be one of the corners, and then this here is going to be the other corner of the rectangle. There should be 1 stitch in between each corner. Don't lose your eyesight on the corner stitch here, but look at 1 stitch below here. We're going to insert our hook into that stitch. We're going to take our previously 18-inch tail and slip stitch it through. Then we're going to jab it into that corner stitch and slip stitch it through. Come on, there we go. Now that we are in the corner, we're gonna do 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like the other side, stick a pin in it if you need to. Okay, now flipping that over, when we look at the other side, we need to first identify that middle stitch. That middle stitch for me is right here. Then that means this is one corner and this is the other corner. The plan is to attach this to here, right? This is the underside. This is the showing side. Now, I like to start with this one here just because it's easier than the other side, but it really doesn't matter. You do what is comfortable for you. So removing the pin, making sure that my chain is straight, which it's not. There we go. Chain is straight. Identifying the corresponding corner, middle stitch, corner stitch. I'm gonna jab it into that corner stitch and then slip stitch it. Then I'm going to identify the next stitch and slip stitch it here. And then I'm gonna pull my yarn through all the way, identify the next stitch, and then I'm going to jab it from the other side so that I can pull this yarn through into the underside. Ta-da! Repeat on this side. Remove pin, insert hook, making sure that the stitches are straight. Identify the corner stitch, jab it in to the corner stitch, and then slip stitch it. Identify the next stitch and slip stitch that. Pull it all the way through. Identify the next stitch and jab it through the other way so that we can pull the tail into the underside. Now we're going to flip our headbands inside out. Typically, what I like to do with the ends in normal crochet is weaving it through. But with lace yarn, I found it to be a lot harder. And on top of that, I don't have like the appropriate needle that can fit this. It's either too big or too small. I don't know what to do. So this is my solution. I'm going to give it a knot as close to the headband as possible. Okay, yeah. I'm going to cut off the ends. And later, I'm gonna glue gun this shit down. Flip it back outside in, and the headband is done. Now let's test it out just to make sure. Perfect. Now we're going to start on the leaf. Taking our green lace yarn, we're gonna begin with a magic ring. Now, it doesn't matter how much tail you leave, that's your preference. We're gonna do 4 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skipping the 4th chain, we're gonna go into our 3rd chain, jab it into the 3rd chain, and slip stitch. Slip, slip. I know it's a little difficult here. Our 2nd chain, slip, slip. Now I want to emphasize that I'm going under, over. You don't want to go over, under, and pull, because sometimes going over and under and pulling makes it really easier, I guess, for this, but it doesn't look right in the end. So we're gonna go under and over. Pull through, pull through. Onto the magic ring, we're going to slip stitch. Okay, this is like my 5th take because it keeps slipping, but here's our magic ring. I'm going to go under the magic ring, pull, and then slip stitch it into that stitch. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skipping the 4th stitch, we're going to slip stitch into the 3rd stitch, slip, slip, then 2nd stitch, slip stitch, slip, slip, and then the 3rd stitch, slip, and slip. Okay, it gets a little bit easier once you have more leaves on this magic ring. Once again, back to our magic ring. We are going to slip stitch it, slip, slip. Hopefully that made sense. We're going to make about 5 leaves. Here we have 5 fingers, or 5 leaves, but they look like fingers. I have yet to do my last slip stitch into the magic ring. So there we go. And then we are going to identify our very first stitch into the magic ring, which is here for me. And then we're gonna slip stitch that into that. Cut off the end, pull this through all the way, and tighten like so. Now for our magic ring, we're going to pull to tighten the hole. Pull! This is the back side, what we just pulled, and this is the front side. And with this, we're going to pull it through that same first stitch into the other side. And there we have it. For the stem, we're gonna take about 5 inches of the yarn and just make a crossover knot as center as possible, like that, and do another knot. So we're basically just layering it on top of each other to give it that height of a stem. You do as many as you want, basically. I did 5. Once you pull it out, it looks like this. Let's turn our glue stick on so that it heats up and it's ready. Going from back to front, we're gonna jab it through the center, and then we're going to pull this through. You might have to do like one side at a time, or you can do both at a time. And we have a stem with the leaves. On the back, I'm gonna separate the tail. So 1 leaf tail and 1 stem tail. The other side, 1 leaf tail and 1 stem tail. Now we double knot that shit. Cut off the excess as close to the knot, but not too close because it could unravel. Just figure out a good distance. Straighten everything out. Put it aside. Grab your headband, flip it inside out so that we can finish off this edge. Using my glue gun, I want to glue it here and here. Attach it like so. Let it cool off. Flip it inside out. Yeah, I hate that, but I really don't know what to do with lace yarn. Now we're gonna determine the center of your headband. What I do is basically just fold it, and then I'm like, yeah, that's the center. So with the center ready, put that down, grab your star, and then glue gun the back. I'm gonna glue the center first, and glue underneath the frayed ends, and glue just a little bit onto the leaves, like that. You don't want to glue all the way, okay? Just around the center area. And then grabbing my headband, I'm going to just press it all down and straighten that shit while I press it down. Tomato headband done. Let's put it on our Smiski. Of course, you can make other things than a tomato with this pattern, I guess. You can make a peach, an orange. That's all I can think of right now. Ta-da! And this, kids, are how tomatoes are made. Yeah, so I hope this tutorial helped. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye!